Good morning again, everyone. Thank you for joining our small credit union spring training. First presenter is Eric Loehr. He's the Chief Revenue Officer at the Reseda Group, and he is going to cover financial literacy in a new tool that is available right on the CCUA website. Eric, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dean, and good morning. It's a real pleasure to be with all of you, and I appreciate you spending a little time with me. We're very excited to be offering a new program for small asset credit unions within the Cooperative Credit Union Association family. The team has worked very hard to make this available for small asset credit unions to be able to offer a financial education platform that is available to all of your members at an incredibly low price, and done in conjunction with the cooperative association. So what I wanted to show you was the resource, what we have available to us and to you. But one of the challenges that we saw is small asset credit unions have resource constraints that a lot of larger credit unions don't have. And as a result, sometimes their financial education resources aren't as robust as they'd like them to be. So at Reseda Group, we're CUSO. We're owned by Michigan State University Credit Union. We have a financial education white label platform called Evergreen. And what that allows us to do is to provide this extraordinary content platform to members. And we are able to do it in a white label environment so that it has nothing to do with Michigan State University or Evergreen. It has everything to do with the organization that wants to deliver this content to their members. So working with the Cooperative League, Melissa and team came to me and said, "Look, we like Evergreen. We think it's a great solution. However, the full white label platform could be cost prohibitive to smaller asset size credit unions. Is there a way that we could still deliver this content in a way that's meaningful at a cost that was much more manageable for smaller asset size credit unions?" So we put our heads together and we came up with this program. So what I want to do is show you the site and the content that we have available for the Cooperative League members, and then share with you what that looks like from a cost standpoint if it's something that you wanted to offer to your members. So when you think about financial education, there's all sorts of ways to deliver it. There's gamification, and we're seeing AI-based curriculum and so on. Well, and all that's great. There's multiple ways to deliver. What we look at Evergreen is we want to be a content delivery platform. Our focus is on content. Content's expensive to create, it's expensive to keep updated. And what we do is we take the content that's created by the Michigan State University Credit Union financial educators. It's a team of 5 or 6 fully certified financial educators who are creating content across different ways of delivery. So we've got blogs, podcasts, videos, etc., that are available to a member to take in this information in a manner that they want to, right? So I use the example of my son who went to school at Eastern Michigan University and got a degree in sports management, who also happens to know more about the Roman Empire, who anybody who isn't a Roman Empire student, a history student should know. He knows so much about it, and he learned it through these podcasts that he would listen to all the time. It was something that was fascinating to him, and they were these great deep dives. So what we do is we say, look, if you want to just read the content through a blog, that's great. If you want to watch a short video to learn more, fantastic, if that's how you learn best. If a webinar that's a deeper dive into the content that you're interested in is a better resource for you, for you to use, that's fantastic too. And then we also offer a few tools and resources that help your member determine, with some financial calculators, what steps might make sense for them, what maybe are some of the best, what's the best path for them to take in certain situations, and then quizzes that they can take in order to test their knowledge in a certain area. And then along with that, once they get done with that quiz, if they haven't got as strong a grasp on that content as they might like, it offers some alternative resources for them to read, listen to, or watch, for them to then gain more information and feel like they're better versed within that content platform or within that specific area. So I just want to walk you through. You can see here, this is the Cooperative Credit Union Association, and if you were to offer this to your credit union members through your credit union, this is what they would see. So what you're delivering to your members is a platform from your league. It's being made available from your league. So obviously a friendly, a supportive organization that your members can see. When you see the branding, it's for the league. No other branding is going to be involved there. You can see the content here. We have blogs, as I indicated, across a wide array of topics. So let me come down here and you can see so many of the different resources that we have: budgeting, career, college, credit, fraud, investing, lifestyle and travel for student athletes, those of you who have student athletes or international students, and or a strong cohort of members that are maybe have immigrated to the United States. We've got international content. All of this is available through, as we see, blogs, and then we have the podcasts here, and you can see they're updated regularly. The podcasts are updated a couple times a month. The blogs are updated generally weekly, maybe every 2 weeks. The content is refreshed all the time with new content coming in and with content that may have been there a while being refreshed and revived. So one of the more common threads I hear, common themes I hear when we're talking about financial education with credit unions across the country is, hey, content can become stale. And we're very focused on making sure that our content is updated and refreshed on a regular basis. And with those 5 or 6 financial educators, certified financial educators that are producing this content, we're able to do that. The other thing is that we genericize the content in such a way that any credit union anywhere can use it. There's no reference to anything from that would be specific to a one credit union. So these are the podcasts. You can see the time, anywhere between, let's call it 17 up to 32, 35 minutes of a deeper dive of within these areas of interest. And we have the videos. And if you take a look, you can see the videos are updated just about monthly. We may miss a month here and there depending upon the production schedule. But these are shorter, generally shorter videos that someone can watch, and that gives them an overview of some content that will be of value to that member. If I come here to the quizzes, you're able to see that we've got a number of different quizzes across, again, a wide array of topics: money cycle, fraud, store credit cards, Social Security, online safety. You can see all of these different areas where somebody can go in and take a look at a quiz. They walk through the quiz and take the quiz, and depending upon how well they do, they can then go in and look at different other different articles or podcasts that can help them get better versed in this particular topic, so that they feel as though they have more mastery of the subject. And then finally, when I come down here to calculators, this is a standard array of financial calculators that your members would have access to. And, some pretty basic questions, right? What are my savings on interest based on, the cost of money? How long will it take me to pay off bills at certain payback schedules? Should I take that rebate or should I take the special rate? Let's look at a comparison side by side. What will my loan payment really be? Does it make more sense to lease or buy? How much could I really afford? So all of these things are done. All of these calculators are just tools, resources for the member to utilize and leverage to help them become a little bit better, or a little bit more comfortable and better versed within the financial education of financial wellness space. It's all branded as the Financial Wellness Center for the credit union. This all exists in front of the firewall. So, anybody visiting the credit union website will have access to it. And as we said, we are offering this in conjunction with the Cooperative League at really strongly subsidized pricing based on the size and the asset size of the credit union. So depending upon your size as a credit union, you can have this anywhere between $1,500 a year up to about $4,000 a year. And we cap the credit union participation we cap small asset participation at $300 million. So the MSU FCU site, they call it Financial 4.0. It looks a little differently with different colors, all right, branding that's more in line with Michigan State University Credit Union, the green and the white. But the content is the same. And that's one of the things I love. If you look at the different, how this is structured, you're able to offer to your members the same quality and level of financial education content as an $8.5 million large credit union that's a university-based credit union. And so we're very proud of this offer. We're very proud to make this available to the small asset credit unions in the cooperative association. Your league has worked very hard with us to make sure that this was structured in such a way that made sense, that was structured in such a way that was within reach of those different credit union asset class sizes. And if you would like to learn more about how we could make this available to you and deliver it to you so that you can have this available to your members and have this sort of incredibly robust content platform available to your members, I would love to talk to you more about it. We know how important financial education is. We know it's the right thing to do. We know that our members need it. And so what we want to do is we want to democratize fintech at Reseda Group. We want to democratize the financial education resources. Your league is incredibly committed to this, and has committed resources to make this available. And so we want to make sure that you, as a small asset size credit union, see the value and are able to make this available to your members if you want, or if you don't have an alternative that you already are using or like.
If a credit union was to sign up for this and they wanted to customize their own page,
Sure.
um, so that it matched their logo colors and all that, what would the process for that be?
Sure. That's our full white label platform, the Financial Wellness Center. And if you chose to do that, it is an increase in cost. As I indicated, the 0 to 100 million in assets is around $1,500 a year. The 100 to 200 million in assets is around $2,500 a year. And the 200 to 300 million in assets is around $4,000 a year. If you wanted a fully customizable site, we can absolutely do that. Cost goes up, right? Because it is a fully customizable site. But you would reach out to me. We talk through what is the best fit for you. What is it you want to accomplish? If that's something that you want to do, we can absolutely make that available so that it matches your look and feel. I can show you a couple of examples of what that looks like. That's the marketplace that you're seeing here. This is Main Impact Credit Union, a credit union in Kentucky. And they're a small asset size credit union. They've got the personalized, the full white label financial education platform. So it's structured a little bit differently with the marketplace, and they're able to have some additional capabilities to customize the site. And as I said, we're happy to do that if that fits what you're trying to do a little bit better. We can work with you on that and make that available. But from the league standpoint, the cooperative league site, we won't have the marketplace point back directly to the credit union. they would have to come back into the credit union space to do that.
The few places that it would say, click here for more information, we would put, please contact your local credit union. I know one of the things that a lot of people are hearing today is trying to make the financial education a piece of a requirement piece for high school graduation.
Mhm.
So it always seems to be the larger credit unions that try to jump on that and offer that assistance to the schools, but there are a lot of small credit unions that have a deeper dive into the community than the large ones. Um, so this is a great way for the small credit unions like yourselves to take advantage and at least have something on your page that you can point people to um, at a really low price point. And the impact grant is available to help offset those costs, whether you decide to use the league branded version or whether you decide to customize your own version. Um,
And Dean, I'm going to just piggyback on that with one point. One of the other things that we do provide at Reseda Group, it's not unrelated to the Financial Wellness Center, and this is for everybody, is we do have books that are age appropriate. We have workbooks that a credit union can purchase, K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. That if you are working with school systems and you want to support that school system with a hard copy financial education workbook, we have them available. And they would be, the cover would have your name, your logo on it as a credit union. And it would, you would have it to support your local school system. If you want to talk about that as well, please let me know.
All right. Our next presenter is Kathy Sianis. She's the Senior Vice President of Clients Success and Partnerships at Posh Technologies. And she's going to show you how, as a small credit union, you can provide a big impact, how you can deliver enterprise level member experience using AI. Kathy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Dean. Really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me again today. I want to spend today going over just kind of the landscape of AI. I do have a partner in crime on the call who handles small business credit unions particularly. So we do democratize AI amongst the credit union landscape. We want to make sure that we're bringing to the table things that can help credit unions of all sizes. So again, I want to spend some time just talking about the AI landscape, maybe places to think about starting and way to do some additional discovery. So let's really dive into what Posh's mission is in helping credit unions in general. And it's about scaling intelligence across the credit union experience. We think that's key. So no matter where you might start, particularly with Posh, if you choose to partner with Posh on AI, it's really about the greater mission of managing the intelligence and getting the consistent experience. Just wanted to share this again. I'm Kathy Sianis. I do have a QR code here. Please take an opportunity to link me in on LinkedIn. I come from years and years and years at credit unions. I've worked at a 250 million size one as a senior leader. I've worked at 4 billion. So I've been around the block a little bit, been with Posh over 4 years, helping credit unions. I am so passionate about this industry, and I've been hiring others from it just because of that. We understand how you work, and we really want to help solve problems. So I want to pause and have you think about your members can get a loan approved by a fintech in 4 minutes. We all know growth, regardless of our size, is important. How fast or what happens when they call yours or they reach out to you? How long does it take? How easy is it to get information about maybe loans or things that you offer? So let's think about that as we go through this. The shift has already happened with AI. I remember doing these a couple years ago or talk about what is AI. I think to a point that some of us were tired of hearing AI, 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 right? I have a new Alexa in my house that really thinks she's part of the conversation now. Well, Posh, as I'm sitting here speaking with you, and as you might meet with us just for some advisory opportunities as well, is to think about we have 312 million AI-powered messages that have ran through us. So we're not new to the game. We see what members are asking across all of our channels, serving over 125 financial institutions of all sizes. We probably have 20 or so under 250 million. So that's something we really are working to help. But really want you to think about it. 25% of all of our interactions are authenticated banking transactions. Most of you probably offer some type of bank by phone interaction. Is it AI powered now? Does it need to change? So a lot of conversations really happening around that. So really, I mean, think about the debate is over. AI is here. How do you use it to differentiate yourself? And how do you think about it as you really step in or expand what you're doing? So the problem isn't AI when we think about it. It's about the knowledge that lives in the people. The problem is fragmented across your organization. It's like, are we giving the same experience regardless if someone calls, uses, if they call you, maybe they use messaging, they email you. If you are using any type of chat, how is that working? And again, I just spoke at a mortgage conference about this, about how do we even scale folks up in the front line to talk about mortgages, right? We don't talk about things we don't know. So knowledge lives in particular people, and if they leave or we lose them, or we're actually tapping into them, which isn't very efficient. So how do we change that using AI? How do we really think about doing business a little bit different, not replacing people, but really elevating what they get to work on? So what's really happening inside of CUs today across all sizes, just so you know? 27% of voice interactions we have seen amongst all of ours is happening after hours when a human's not even there. That's a lot. 73% is business hours. For folks that are using digital, 35% of the interactions are happening after hours. So how are you maybe helping your members after hours today? 83% of the interactions are still happening for us by voice. We're seeing more voice than chat, even if available. So again, just giving you kind of the landscape of what's going on. So it's real. Wanted to share again and educate you on what we're seeing since we've been in the AI field now for 7-8 years, what we're seeing across to have you thinking. So I want you to sit back and think about that. What is happening after hours at your organization? Probably the same. Are they calling your voice solution, your traditional voice menu? Are they trying to do interactions? Unfortunately, not everybody has moved to online banking interactions. They still call, they still chat, and so forth. So just adding a whole bunch of tools isn't really the answer or gives you better outcomes. We still have static FAQs that don't scale, right? This person has some knowledge, that person has knowledge. We have disconnected systems that create inconsistency. And we can't keep up with training. Training has become more complex. So how do we really go back to the base? And I'm going to talk about what Posh's mission is in serving credit unions of all sizes around just the experience and the knowledge. That's really important to us. So we've taken a little bit of a different approach. So AI isn't a tool, it's a compatibility layer. So it's an intelligence layer we see for members, employees, channels. So we know that you have knowledge, the knowledge that you use. So how do we use it to create the most consistent experience, regardless if I'm a member, regardless if I'm an employee assisting a member? Right? Regardless of which channel I might be using. But again, you may start with one channel with your knowledge and then think about what your roadmap is to expand, but starting somewhere is important. But I think starting with the concept of using your knowledge to drive consistency. Again, you may start, we have clients that have started internally. We even have smaller CU assets and asset size. Some have started with a digital assistant on their website, maybe something that enhances their search, or maybe internally helping their employees. Again, you may start in different places, but it's still, so we don't fragment this. We want to show you the experience around really leveraging knowledge and how valuable your knowledge is. I don't want you to think about just going and buying different AI tools to solve problems when we could really think about a larger umbrella. So one brain, every channel, all at once. So not a chatbot, not a point solution, but a layer. So once we have your knowledge, it's very easy then to add components, either internal or external, really leveraging that knowledge. You have policies, you have procedures that live. Some of them may be on the network drive, some of them may be on an intranet. But what if we took that information to help you leverage it, or even show you where there's opportunities and gaps to improve it, to leverage it to make a difference? So we are the AI platform built for FIs. We serve only FIs, financial institutions. So think about it. We have 125 TU banks, mostly credit unions. They were just really proactive and the first really to move. I think their minds are more open. I think their contact centers work a little bit different. Their branches are a little bit different. And they're seeing really the fastest time to value. And you can decide when you think about AI and leveraging AI, regardless again of size, it's not about it's a strategy to have AI. It's about solving use cases and making it, what are you solving? What is your roadmap? What is your strategy to better serving your employees, better serving your members, driving consistency, and those type of things. So it's really a different way of thinking. So when you think of Posh, and what our mission is in serving credit unions of all sizes is about creating an AI brain that you can leverage. And as you scale and add things, you continue to create a consistent experience. And again, we're going to talk about a little bit of those different solutions and where to start. And again, we serve credit unions of all sizes. We also understand, I was thinking about the previous presentation, we do price differently for smaller credit unions because we know you're getting into the market and we know that it's just different. Not every credit union is the same. And it's interesting, not every credit union solves problems the same way or has to jump through different hoops. It's kind of fun to work with smaller credit unions that know what they need and they can move a little bit quicker. And we're here to help with that. So the biggest cost center that all credit unions have are member interactions. So that could be by voice. If you're using any type of chat bot out there, regardless of your size, it could be you're resourcing that with humans. And why are folks having to call us, or why do they still have to drive into a branch potentially? Again, they're not all going online and using online banking. Oftentimes it's because there's no way to get service 24/7, and there's no way to get service the way they want when they want it. So very important. So let's think about just a voice solution. What about by mobile? I use your mobile app a lot, but I have a question. What if it's after hours? Could I use AI that has your knowledge to give me some answers? So again, a different way of thinking and serving your end users. So very important. I am very busy during the day. I oftentimes have a struggle making a follow-up dentist appointment or a vet appointment, let alone doing my banking. So a lot of it happens after hours. So I want to be able to ask questions or do some research on my own. So how could I easily do that? Or when I do call, I don't have a lot of time to wait for an employee to go ask somebody else. What if they had knowledge at their fingertips? Really changes the experience overall. Segueing into that, your second bottleneck is employee knowledge. Can your employee get real-time answers? And do they talk about things that they don't understand? Could we give them a way to feel empowered? So there's no searching or guessing. I remember 4 to 5 years ago, I, even as a CXO, was looking for an answer and I went to my intranet and I had to do word search. What if I could just answer a question? What if I could answer a question and then even have it create an email follow-up for me? Wouldn't that be powerful? Using my knowledge only, not everything out in the wild, but really just giving me that assistance and giving me that empowerment, maybe to help me upsell, cross-sell, maybe talk about a first-time homebuyer program that I would normally never say anything about because I know nothing about it, but I have an assistant at my fingertips that could give me some talking points. So I want you to think about that and the value. And then what if I give you that knowledge. And from an internal perspective, I could also take that knowledge and create simulations to help folks role play and learn versus real-time role playing. What if I could let them practice those interactions? I demoed in a mortgage group just last week, me being an agent talking to someone who is calling in for their first home purchase opportunity. And I was managing that interaction. The avatar was the member that I gave a persona to, and I was the agent. And I took it 2 to 3, 4 times, really practicing my craft of what would I say to create a referral to our mortgage lenders or to my third-party mortgage company. So think about AI-driven simulations, role-specific scenarios, and then think about that faster ramp time. You could use this for onboarding. You could use it just to send folks through certification. What about interviewing candidates or even member-employee interactions? So this is the way of the future. And again, I can still use your knowledge to create scenarios. And then we can also create rubrics to really score those calls against. Of the calls and interactions, depending on how large maybe your contact center is. Some of them may be smaller. Some of them may be going to branches. But how are we QAing those interactions to see where improvements could be made? I always kind of believed that I have one shot, I want to execute it. If I have somebody in front of me, let's make sure I'm giving them the best experience possible. And the best experience isn't just answering a question, but also educating that member on the value of their membership. Still, I think we lost that, right? Membership is important. Credit unions, it's an elite group still to belong to a credit union. I still only belong to credit unions. Don't tell any of my bank clients that, but I just have drank the Kool-Aid. So how do we really measure outcomes? So here's another tool to think about, and we can use the knowledge to create IQ cards so that when I am talking, am I using our processes and procedures when you're measuring those call outcomes? So just things to think about on how I can be more inventive, more efficient, and those type of things using another tool. So again, knowledge. I have in here several testimonials, but I'm going to go to our website. I'm going to show you our link and you can go watch any of them, but they're also in this PowerPoint. Really think about your use cases. Is it high call volumes that you can't get to? Is it knowledge gaps in your organization? Is it onboarding? Is it compliance? Is it making sure you're delivering? So there could be different use cases, but regardless, we're going to center this around your knowledge. If you partner with Posh, we're going to give you guided onboarding. We're going to help you with knowledge strategy support, ongoing optimization. We're going to show you the way and then continue to share how AI is moving and additional opportunities that might serve. We really intimately want to know what your use cases are, what your strategy, where your pain points are, so we can guide you accordingly. The credit unions winning right now aren't the biggest. They're the ones that decided to move. The debate is over. Execution is what matters now. Let's talk about where you start. I think that's what's really important. And that if you go to our website, you can go in here and look at products. Knowledge Assistant has seemed to be the most popular oftentimes. If you feel like you're not ready for member facing, you really want to start internally, it truly starts with your knowledge, and then you can use that knowledge to feed other channels and solutions. You can click right into here at any time, and you can go down here and you can kind of watch how it works here. So really nice. I also thought Somerville is a client of ours, around 120 million. They did start with a member facing. They wanted to provide a better way for their members to use their knowledge using the information on their website and documents to get answers. So if even a potential member came to their website, they could get information quickly. I could go in here. They're leading me with questions. They could run a campaign. I can ask this and it's just going to give me the answer. I'm not trying to navigate every piece of their website. So that's where they started. So there is an opportunity to get started. If you're interested in just having a conversation with us, what we call a discovery call to go, well, what are some of your pain points? What are you doing for this or that? We can help guide you on some ideas and thoughts. No obligation, but that's what we want to make sure we're doing here. Today, our mission was to just share AI is for everybody. Every size credit union, you may just start somewhere differently, and it's understanding your use cases. But Posh, as a partner, it's about us really solving, not just buying every little AI piece, but how do we leverage your knowledge? How do we make a difference? And how do we help you get started? So,
I do have a question. So you had
yeah.
mentioned you have about 20 or so credit unions that are under 250 million in
Yep.
assets. What is the most common tool that you're seeing these credit unions adopt?
Most often, they're starting with their internal knowledge assistant, most often. But we have seen kind of a stretch recently with the digital assistant. Because what's happened is some folks of smaller size have decided to go with the live chat, but they're really having a difficult time resourcing it with the human. And humans are only available during business hours anyway. We find that an AI assistant using your knowledge can answer probably 80% of the questions that are being asked.
Interesting.
So, and
So,
then you can let them others know to call you like the next day. So I would always start with AI before a live chat. I did it backwards, even in a larger credit union, and it was difficult, very difficult.
okay. And then you had also mentioned early on that 83% of interactions are still happening via some type of voice communication. You don't have to have a breakdown of like what groups are still using the voice versus um, chat or anything like that.
We're still seeing voice being predominantly used, people calling. However, we have seen that if you deploy like an AI chat assistant, we will see a deflection in the number of calls happening because now you can, it's right there on the website. It's easy to use. And if you market it, we actually do marketing strategy sessions to help you think about how to market, how to bring that assistant to life and make it part of your organization. We have also seen that the search engine I showed you on Somerville, I mean, think about it. I just give you guys a quick example. I moved to Florida, wanted to join a couple of credit unions. I was like, well, who's got some of the best CD rates? Do you know what kind of work I had to do? First, I went to Google, put in that. Then I had to go to each individual page and go to the drop downs and move around. But I could go to Somerville's page right now and easily type in what's your best CD rate, and it's just going to give me the answer.
Okay.
And I'll be like, yes, well, how do I join? What's your closest branch? Think about how we've all, it's kind of funny. Think about our own personal lives. How much are we using AI in our own personal life, right? I add my shopping list to Alexa. I don't type it in my phone. I'll be like, Alexa, add dog food. Our lives are becoming easier with AI, but it allows me now to focus on something different that's more important. Is it? So it's really changing, the things we get to spend our time on.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I also want to mention that if you are interested in getting started with Posh, whether it's through a bot or knowledge assistant for staff to start, the impact grant is available for that as well to help offset those costs. So if you haven't applied for it or looked into the impact grant, that is available out on our website and where you can find more information on the impact grant. So if one of these two solutions fills a hole, solves a problem for you, you have some funds to help offset the cost, if not cover the entire cost. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a
Have
great
a great one.
afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks.